Call of Duty Zombies has seen its fair share of modding projects over the years, but nothing was quite like this one. In the years 2016 and 2017, mod developer Dr. Low Robot put together 4 zombie experiences that changed the way we view custom zombies to this day. In this video, I put together the Nova 6 series retrospectives I did on each map. I've made some additions and changes to each one so you can view this as their definitive additions. I've also included some bonus content in between. The bonus content includes a section on Director on Set, which is a turned game mode on Call of the Dead with George Romero. I've also included an interview with the creator of this Nova 6 series, Dr. Robot. Before we get on with the video, I have timestamps and chapters for each section if you want to see a specific thing. And don't forget to drop a like and subscribe if you enjoy. There's plenty more zombies videos on the way. Without further ado, let's get into the interview with Dr. Robot.
Hello?
Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, what's up? Dr.
I'm fine,
Robot.
how are you?
How's it going, man? I thought I'd just keep this short. Just want to ask a couple of random questions, you know?
Sure, go for it.
What inspired you to do Black Ops 1 instead of like World at War or BO3? Because I know BO3 like was starting to really kick up at that point. Why choose Black Ops 1?
World at War, I skipped on because I didn't really have any knowledge in mapping, and I didn't want to bother someone to map for me or do a collaborative project in that regard. So I thought it would be fun to just kind of try making mods for Black Ops 1 because the tools were available and I kind of like playing that game more. It just feels better than World at War, and that's just World at War's old. You know, you can't help it.
Yeah,
Black Ops 3, Black Ops 3 didn't really pick up until, or I don't even think the mod tools were available till I started working on Fury's Temple or Mindshare. And I was in the alpha, but it was the same kind of reason, right? It was like, I just liked working on maps I already had available to me. I didn't want to make new ones.
That's true. I might have my timeline messed up here. Because Fury's Temple was like 2016, I think. Right?
Let's see.
Yeah, I think it was 2016.
So
I don't remember exactly when the Black Ops 3 mod tools like really kicked off. So I know I remember I tried to like do some at the very beginning, but I had no clue what I was doing. And then when he had like the giant assets in them.
Yeah, let's see. I was invited to the mod tools alpha August 2016. So everything wasn't really I think that was private at that point too.
Yeah, interesting.
So I mean, yeah, it was just because I was already working on Fury's Temple. I mean, that was like a half a year to a bit longer project, I think.
Interesting. All right. Why choose the 5 crew out of all crews?
I thought it was fun. I thought it was funny. That's it.
Okay.
I thought it was funny. I wasn't gonna write any characters. I'm like, what would be funny? Oh, the 5 crew.
Yeah, because I know a lot of custom maps try and like insert their own story with like the Primus crew or Ultimus crew, but like the 5 crew is always left out to hang out to dry. Like, you know.
Yeah, I was just tired of hearing the Ultimus. I was like, let's put the 5 crew on these maps. I think it'd be funny, and I did it. So,
speaking of that, did you add any like? I know you couldn't add new voice lines, but were there any like voice lines like hidden away, like that you like repurpose and things like that? So I know you repurposed some voice lines in like Fury's Temple, like interacting with certain things, but was there any like hidden voice lines you found, or?
I don't think so. I don't remember anything like that. I just reused what they had available.
That's pretty cool. How many hours I know this is a like you might not know the answer to this question, but how many hours have you spent working on this whole series? Like this was a lot. Like maybe start with like which one take the longest? I would assume Mindshare is the longest, right?
Mindshare took the longest.
Yeah.
That was a lot. My mod tools for Black Ops 1 says I have put 1,600 hours in it.
Wow.
So that's a pretty good estimate. Those are the only things I worked on. And director. Oh shit. Directors on set as well, I guess. That mod would be in there somewhere.
Okay.
So for Nova 6, it was probably around like 1,400 total hours.
I want to come back to director on set later, so I do have a question about that. But for now, let's.
Sure.
What was the hardest asset to mod into Black Ops 1? Because I know you pulled in a lot of assets from all kinds of games, like Freelancer, Sonic, all those kind of things. What was
The
the
time
hardest one?
eater.
The time eater? Yeah,
That
I
one was
figured.
difficult because he's split up into 8 parts,
Ooh.
and all the parts have different animations. So I had to write this really like stupidly complex system where like you'd send a command and then it would jump through all the parts and then map it up to the right animation and like reattach it. And then there was a lot of complex stuff with the like how he could take his arm off too.
Yeah,
That
put it through the
one was a
portal, stuff
big
like
pain in
that.
the butt. Yeah, that was a big pain. That was probably the hardest asset to get in.
I noticed I didn't even when I like for Fury's Temple, like the Flowey fight. I've never played Undertale like at all, but I looked up like the actual Flowey fight, like the Omega Flowey fight in Undertale. It is like almost 1-for-1. Like
Yeah,
that
that
was such a
was
shock to me because I was like I would thought like some of these
yeah.
attacks were random, but no, they're straight from the game.
Yeah, I wasn't really knowledgeable in like designing gameplay, so I just copied it. I was like, "Oh, what if I just copied this into 3D space?" And that's just how I went about it. It was I think I did a good job though. And the
That
model
was
was made by a friend of mine. He was making it for a TF2 map, and I just asked him if I could use it, and I would program it to be an actual boss fight. And he'd be like, and he was just like, "Yeah, sure."
that's pretty sick. I saw some comments about like being a TF2 map. I wasn't sure what that was referencing, so now I know.
Yeah, yeah. His name is Fish and Metroid 101. He doesn't really have. I don't know if he has like if he's online that much anymore, but I just want to make sure like that credit's out there.
Okay. Now, since Time Eater was the hardest one, what was your favorite one to bring in? Like the one that you were maybe most looking forward to, like adding when you saw like I gotta add this in.
Phew, that's a tough one. Weirdly enough, I was excited to make the jet gun. I've always liked that gun. It just sucks in transit like a lot. I think overall the thing I was most excited to bring in was the nomads in Mindshare because the work to make them like a pseudo AI was crazy fun to figure out.
Yeah, because you had
Most of my
nothing to
fun,
take up
you
from.
can't.
Like I know like the
Yeah, you
vermin
can't
or
drop new
parasites.
AI in.
Yeah, like the
Yeah,
vermin or parasites you had from dogs or whatever, but this was all brand new.
yeah, those were really fun. I think that was like my first like fully like thinking AI, and it wasn't even like using the nav mesh or anything because it couldn't. So I had to create like fake zones in the air that they knew how to get to, and then like I would calculate if they knew a path, and if they didn't, then they would do that thing where they like turn invisible and then they'd reappear, stuff like that.
Oh, I guess that's why. I mean, obviously for gameplay reasons too. That's why I like teleport you outside into certain areas.
Yeah, because it's like there was no way I could figure out how to make them
Like I fit through those
go
tiny
in
doors.
there or shoot through you. That's why the only place where you can go inside and it doesn't teleport you, there's a window because they can just shoot you through it.
Yeah, yeah. I
Because
think it's
I
yeah.
I built those guys when they did like the Sentinels and Gorod Krovi, and I was like, I really didn't like how if a Sentinel couldn't figure you out, he would just start spawning zombies. So I'm like, I didn't like that. So I'd rather just make people fight them instead.
That's pretty smart. I'm be honest. I didn't even know the Sentinels could spawn zombies.
Yeah, they spawn
I'm.
like the charred guys, right?
Oh, that's right. I haven't played Gorod Cove in
Yeah.
forever. Which out of the 4 maps was your favorite to make? I'm assuming it's Mindshare, right?
Mindshare.
Yeah, gotta be.
Project Thor was a close second, just because like I've always loved Ascension, so it was just fun to add toys to it.
I got a couple here. What was the inspiration for the storyline behind Over 6? And was
I
it
don't know.
like the primary or like secondary for the modding experience? Like, did you work on like the gameplay and stuff first, or was the story like what you worked on first?
It was hand in hand.
Okay,
Since I was the guy writing the story and coding it, I kind of was able to just
just do whatever you
do it
want.
as I went and figure out, you know, let's make a gameplay thing. Oh, how do I fit into the story? Or let's make a story thing and make a gameplay thing out of it. You know, that's just how it is. Just like an idea came, and I'm like, okay, I'll figure out how to make it work in both spots sometimes. Like the parasites, for example,
Yeah.
I just added those, and then I was like, okay, but why are they here? And I'm like, oh, I'll do a flying panzer soldat who's evil. That'll work.
Speaking of the flying panzer, why was he not able to run around through the map? Why was he stuck flying? Was that a just your choice? Was that like a limitation?
I had no idea at the time. Like I was just I didn't know anything about coding many things.
Oh, okay.
It was my second scripting experience. My first one was a mod that came out before Nova 6, called Samantha's Vengeance, where it was just a weapons mod on Moon, and it had
Interesting.
like a canceled Easter egg on it and a buildable zap gun, and that was it. So I just didn't have any knowledge.
For your second time, that was like nuts. For making
Yeah,
entirely Nova,
I
that's
just
pretty nuts.
thank you. I appreciate it. A lot of like learning just comes from hyper fixating on an idea. So I'm like, I really want this in this game.
One
So
way or
I'll
another,
just
it's getting in there.
I'll just figure it out. I'll just be like, all right, figure it out. That I mean, like, yeah, that's how it went through the whole stories. And I literally have Nova 6 to thank for my career. I didn't go to school. I just made stupid COD Zombies mods. Now I have a career.
That's so sick, dude. Because yeah, like you could just you put this on like your resume and stuff. Like, yeah, but the
Yeah.
problem is things like that. Like, do the recruiters and stuff like know how like the significance of it? You know what I mean? That's I don't know. I guess
No,
they did because you got a
I
career.
got
Yeah,
lucky.
yeah.
Yeah. We found there was one recruiter who came to me for my web stuff, and then like their lead of their team like looked at the mods on the website that I made and was like, okay, we got to hire this guy. He'll probably be able to figure anything out. And yeah, there we go. Worked out.
Nice. Why is there no Nova 6 series for Kino or Call of the Dead? I know Call of the Dead has a director on set, but like why no story type quest experience on those two maps?
For Call of the Dead, I just approached everything as like I would just make a mod for every map and then move on to the next one. So Project Thor into director on set was like, I have a fun idea for this. What if we make it so you play as George? And then my friends were like, that sounds silly, but let's try it. And then we made it, and then it would turn out to be fun. So I just didn't want to make another map on Call of Dead or another mod. I should be calling them mods, not maps. For
I
Kino,
still call them maps.
I don't like Kino. That's it. I just don't like
it's-
Kino. That's it.
I gotta agree with you on that. I know it's a hot take with some people out there, but it's just kind of mid. Like it's just kind of mid.
It's just Darius with less.
Yeah,
the
honestly,
same map
yeah.
as Darius with less. That's why I don't like it. I'm like, nah, I'm out.
Yeah, I still have to try director on set. I've seen gameplay and stuff like that, but I still have to get my friends like we gotta like get a night and just go and play. So
Yeah, it's fun. It was a very weird idea. I always wanted to remake it in Black Ops 3, but I just haven't had time to, because like a friend of mine did the helped with the Call of the Dead remake that came out.
Yeah, that was excellent. That was an excellent remake.
I'm like, oh, it'd be fun to make like a director on set for that too, but I just haven't had time.
Speaking of, now that we're on the topic, a lot of people want me to ask: would you ever consider porting Nova 6 to VO3? -5. I know 5 isn't there, but somebody else is making a 5 custom map apparently. I don't know, but anyway.
I don't think so. I think they're good as experiences in Black Ops. I kind of built all the features I added around the idea of it being in Black Ops. And like I even added the gobblegums myself
Yeah, the
as like
gobblegum is a
this is the
huge
one
thing.
thing I would pick out if I were to bring something over. I'll pick this out, and I did that. The only one I would maybe consider is Mindshare, because of how much I have learned with all of the tools I used in Mindshare, like how to work with vehicles and AI in Black Ops 3. I could put that mod to shame. Like not to sound like I have an ego, but I have learned so much about programming since Mindshare that it's like remaking that one would be fun as heck.
Would you be able to make it one map instead of having to load into 2? Could you just hop in the Jackal and just fly straight out? You think something like that, or?
I don't know. I don't think so. I'd probably change the boss fight to be like the original concept too.
What was the original concept?
Just because I like it more and it would be more unique and interesting. The original concept, I ended up changing it because of availability of tools and just I focused a lot on spectacle because I've learned a lot that COD Zombies fans really enjoy big spectacle. So I'm like, let's make
100%.
Mindshare go out with a gigantic bang. Let's not. The original concept, there were 2 stages to it. The first one was the final boss would start in space with a drone spaceship, and then you'd fight the drone spaceship for a little bit, and then once the drone spaceship breaks, it would transition into a on foot boss fight in space, like how the time meter works now, except the time meter was instead a FTL rig from Infinite Warfare. I'll get you the picture.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Because I was a little cringe 16-year-old when I was making this stuff. So I was like, if I had like an OC, it would be this guy because he's a robot. Get it? Right? So I did stuff
that's
like
cool though.
that's what I want it to be, and he would use the FTL abilities from Infinite Warfare while holding a Fury song, and you'd be fighting him.
Interesting.
And there was another in-between phase where there wasn't the drone spaceship, and you actually started by fighting the Fury song itself, and it was like gigantic, and it had a swarm of swords around it, and it would fight you. Because I had this weird obsession with that thing. I don't know why. I really don't know why. I just really like that sword. It looks cool.
It does look cool.
Like
yeah.
it was gonna be like if you ever play Smash Bros on the Wii U, they have like the final boss in classic mode called Master Core, and he has a phase where he turns into swords. It was gonna be like that.
Is that the giant hand? I'm not a Smash player. Is that the giant hand?
It comes out of the giant hand. He's like a big swarm of like black goop.
Okay, I have to look that up. I'll put a picture, or I'll do an overlay picture. There's something.
Yeah, here. You take that one.
Oh, I have never seen this. I've never seen
it. Yeah, it doesn't look that impressive. It's just swords. Oh, there it is. But yeah, that's what the original concept was.
Okay.
But yeah, if I did remake Mindshare, I would probably try to do that concept because it was cool.
Okay. Yeah, and it offered something different too. If somebody likes the original better, they could always go back and play Black Ops 1, So.
Yeah.
Oh, any new projects on the horizon? I noticed on your thing you got like Plague, like the Extinction stuff. Like that, all this stuff looks pretty dope. Like, is that stuff ever like gonna see the light of day or?
Extinction is a canceled thing.
Okay.
I wanted to make a game mode for Extinction, or for Black Ops 3 where it was like an RTS with Extinction, because I really liked Extinction. I have 1,000 hours in that game.
Damn.
Just on Extinction. I love it. But it was one of those like bit off more than I could chew things, because when I got really into the mechanics of it and doing like the playtests, I found out Black Ops 3 will just start lagging a lot when you have more than like 32 NPCs on the map.
Oh yeah, and for RTS you gotta have a lot.
Yeah, and then when you hit 64 NPCs, it just won't spawn them anymore.
Oh,
it'll just
that's great.
Throw an error out. So I'm like, I guess I should have tested that first, but oh well. And yeah, I don't think I'm gonna do Project Colorado. Maybe I will. That was just my desire to create Extinction, but a mod tools version, so more people could make Extinction, because I'm not a mapper.
Yeah, like custom Extinction.
And then Plague is like, yeah. Oh man, I wish, man. Where's my Ghost mod tools? Even though everyone hated that game, just do it for Extinction, please. Thank you. And then Plague is like the main thing. It's a big drawing. Like, it's a big project.
Any of your favorite custom maps on the store now? Like you have any ones that you go like play a lot, or any ones that really stand out to you, even from like a coding perspective?
Yes. My favorite to play is a map called it's gonna sound stupid, but it's a map called Five Nights at Greg's.
Okay.
And it's a meme map for sure. Like it literally is just a meme map, but something about it is so fun. Like there's some weird magic it captured by being like the proper balance between like a shitpost and a zombies map. Like there's like a lot of perks, and it's even got an Easter egg with 2 different endings. me and my friends will just like it's just a shit post. It's got memes on the walls, but me and my friends will go back and play this once in a while. Like it's so
Some of those maps can just be deceptively good.
Yeah, I don't get
Like,
it.
I know exactly what you mean.
It was so fun.
I'll add this to the list because this actually looks pretty cool. So my friends and I play it.
Yeah. And then in terms of like general polish and like scripting prowess and all that, maybe I shouldn't say Rainy Death because I helped with that. I made an AI on it.
Which one?
I
Was it
made
the
like
boss?
no, it's little
Oh.
Nova Crawler guys, the little shot guys.
Oh, those guys.
I helped with the boss. I just helped with like helping Hitman understand some of the nuances that come with implementing custom vehicle AI. And then I don't think you can go wrong with that Die Rise remaster.
Oh yeah,
I think
great.
everyone's gonna talk about that one.
Yeah.
That one's really good. That one was a lot of fun to play.
That one's
It's
like
still
a
like spot
perfect
on,
remaster.
and then
Yeah, it's perfect.
it addresses all the issues people had with Die Rise for the most part.
I think they're still adding
So
like Easter eggs to it as well. Like I know they have like Patreon Easter eggs or something. Like they're still like going strong with it.
yeah, I think so.
They got the whole live service thing down too, which is insane.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of live service, you ever play Black Ops 6 or no? You into it or
nah? I'm over modern COD just because of the live service stuff. I can't.
Yeah.
It feels like the quality of the games kind of went down, but the number of the skins went up. So I'm kind of like,
100%.
not really interested.
I'm still playing it a bit, but it's getting to that point where like the like the luster of the new maps and all this stuff is wearing off at that point. It's like,
yeah,
you know, like the new maps are fun to play, but I don't know.
Also, like I'm just kind of over normal zombies gameplay. And that's no fault of the zombies or the newer games. That's just me getting tired of it. I don't want to see when I see new zombies. I don't want to see how it plays it like playing the same anymore. Weirdly enough, I've been playing like a lot of COD World War II. Like I've been addicted to that World War II zombies because I realize it's actually really fun.
It is fun, yeah. The
And
people sleep on it.
It was ruined by the fact that everyone focused on Easter eggs, and the Easter eggs in those games suck. World of War II's Easter eggs suck so much.
They're tough. Like you have to sit there for like 3 hours and just like lock in for an Easter egg. But some people don't like that. But yeah, I mean, I could do that like once a month.
Yeah.
Like, not even a month. I mean, once forever, and then never come back to Easter egg. But
yeah, if I want to play like a zombies game that's like engaging enough for me, I just go play World War II zombies. I don't touch the Easter eggs at all. I've done them all once. I'm done. I don't need to touch them.
Yeah, that's how I feel about a lot of Easter eggs sometimes. Like you just do it once and that's it.
Yeah, I think that's the general problem with Black Ops 6 is that people will really often judge the map's quality just on how the Easter egg goes.
I'm pretty guilty of that, to be honest, because I always look at it like
it's the first thing everyone does. It makes sense.
Yeah, because nowadays it's so like ingrained into the map because like the huge like like you said, the spectacle, like everything, the spectacle, like the boss fights and stuff like that. That's like if you don't do it, you're missing like a huge chunk of the map. You know, it's I don't know. But anyway, hopefully like the story doesn't get too stupid. So I know they want to add premise back or whatever, but whatever. Whatever.
Oh no.
Yeah. I don't know. Only time will tell.
Yeah. Hey, Rick Toffin said that.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even mean to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm awful. Sorry.
I've been playing zombies for the past, well, I don't even know how long I've been playing zombies. I've been playing zombies since I was like 8 years old.
Yeah, me too.
Dude, it's so
I shouldn't have been, but
oh yeah,
it's fun.
Yeah, dude, it's so fun. It's so fun.
I remember playing Mob of the Dead with my friend, and we'd order like the thin crust Domino's pizza and just go to town on it. Getting around 32, just camping in the showers with the Blender cat. So good. Life was simple, man.
Yeah. I remember back in World at War days, I couldn't get past round 3. My stupid ass couldn't get past round 3. It was like I don't even know.
I would always lose on the Pentagon Thief. Always on 5.
I never played 5. I always hated 5. That would scare me.
scary.
Yeah,
depending
I
on-
was
yeah.
like, I'm not playing this.
Yeah, I can't blame you.
Oh, yeah. Why'd you remove Pentagon Thief from Nova 6? You just didn't like him?
Just because I wanted to do the dog rounds. I was like,
Okay.
oh, what if we? One of the gimmicks that, like, everyone always looks forward to in zombies at the time was like, oh, what new custom enemy, what new dog round is going to be in this map? You know. So
That's
I
true,
was just
yeah.
like, oh, I want to do one too. And then I found there was code that like made the dogs kind of work in 5, but I had to patch it up a bit. So I was like, oh, let's try it. It'll be a learning experience. I'll just throw the dogs in there and change them to be like aliens. And that's what I did. So
Neat. Why freelancer? Because I've be honest, I've never heard of freelancer
yeah,
in my
nobody's
whole
heard of
life.
it. Yeah. Childhood game. It was like the first game I ever played where that like captivated me in a way where I was playing for like many hours for the game itself. It started as like I got introduced to it by playing this mod for it called Discovery, and it was like a post freelancer storyline story that was written by fans, and it was like a D&D server. So you'd go on there and you'd have a character and you would carve a story and make a path and like interact with the world, and like the things would change
That
in
sounds
the
fun.
updates. Like yeah, like the
I feel like
people
you
who
don't
made the
get
mod would
games like that nowadays, or anything like that.
yeah, we
nowadays,
don't.
really.
The people who made the mod would like change the map depending on what like a certain faction of people did. So it'd be like, oh, this faction of people blew up a space station. Well, that's gone now, and they've parked their own space station there that belongs to this faction. So then that place would become like hostile to a part of the
Oh,
server
that's
that's
sick.
enemies to that faction. It was so cool.
Oh, for
And
like an old game too.
yeah, it's really old, like 2001. And I when I played, I became a nomad in it. So I already had like this whole character and everything that I took from Freelancer and I put into the story. The boss fight of where you fight the Marduk.
Yeah.
The name at the bottom, Kasilra, that was the name of my nomad
Oh,
when I played.
I was
way back
wondering
then.
what that name was.
Yeah.
Because I posted the Mindshare retrospective today. I didn't mention it.
Yeah, I watched it this morning. It was good. It was cool to see your thoughts.
I'm gonna make a comment, pin that, because that's actually sick lore. That's sick lore.
Yeah. That was my character in Freelancer when I was a nomad. You had to start as like a little morph, like a little morphling, and you had to go interact with humans, and then you'd like come back and you'd like evolve into a big nomad. It was so cool.
That's sick.
But
I think that's really all I have. Thank you for
Go
stopping
ahead,
by,
sorry.
man. This was fun.
Yeah, no problem. I appreciate it. It feels nice that someone really likes my work enough to want to cover it the way you are.
Yeah,
It's like validating, I guess.
Yeah. I just remember playing all those years back, and it's like we played it. My friends and I played it pretty recently, and I was like, you know what? I want to make a video on this just because,
Yeah.
Because I feel like
Do it,
nobody
yeah,
talks
have
about
fun.
it. Like back in the day, like it was so hype, but nobody. I don't know.
That's kind of how COD is always. Like,
Yeah.
thing comes out, covered, move on.
Now it's all
Right?
about
I mean,
buy a new bundle. Gums.
even like the big YouTubers just stop covering the maps after the Easter egg's done. They're just like, all right, you go play
that's true.
something else, you know. So, I'm not surprised. I'm not broken up about it. A lot of people liked it. Clearly enough people played it. That's kind of what I care more about now, is like, it's nice that the YouTubers cover it sometimes, but I prefer when I get the experience across to someone and they really enjoy it.
Yeah.
Like you did.
Yeah.
And you decided, oh, I'm going to cover it. And it's like, oh, that's awesome.
Like, most important question. I almost forgot it. Is Coleman actually really dead?
Yeah, no, you did.
Oh my god.
Your little guy's dead. He got crunched up.
My goat. No, my goat. Oh well. Okay. That was the last important question I had. Oh, I can't believe I almost forgot that.
When talking about modded zombies, the first games that probably come to mind are Black Ops 3 or the classic World at War. But what if I told you that back in 2016, one developer took on one of the biggest modding challenges and created a series of mods with their own intertwined stories for fan favorite maps in the notoriously difficult to mod Black Ops 1. Mod developer Dr. Lil Robot created the Nova 6 series spanning across 4 maps. Today, we're going to take a look at his first entry, which released March 5th, 2016, a whopping 9 years ago. The Nova 6 series' first chapter starts us on the map 5. This mod provides the map with a new lease on life, giving it a fully fledged Easter egg, along with various gameplay additions that modernize the map. We will go through the full Easter egg later, but for now, let's take a look at some of the gameplay changes for this mod. The biggest change, and most controversial, is the Parasite round being in place of the Pentagon Thief round. The removal of the Pentagon Thief rips out a core feature of 5, but allows for a story-driven replacement. The Parasites function identically to dogs, fast-moving squishy enemies. They have a custom model and sounds from a game called Alien Swarm by Valve. The weapon selection has been refreshed, taking guns from BO3, MW3, and Ghosts, adding a total of 15 new weapons to the map. The Wunderwaffe also makes an appearance with the updated model from Black Ops 3. The Marshall 16s also make an appearance, having been turned into a Winter's Howl type weapon, which shoots a cold vortex, freezing and killing zombies. As for perks, Double Tap is upgraded to its 2.0 variant. No other new perks were added to the map. One thing that's present throughout all of the Nova 6 maps is the introduction of the 3-hit down system from Black Ops 3. Black Ops 1 originally had a 2-hit down system, but the Nova 6 series makes it a 3-hit down. Nova 6 also features a unique HUD with round change music from Advanced Warfare. The wall buys no longer have chalk drawings, rather the weapon name written on the wall. Last but certainly not least, Nova 6 features a fully functioning gobblegun machine and related animations, near identical to its Black Ops 3 version. This was an insane thing to mod into Black Ops 1 at the time, and even though the gum selection is limited, you still have access to the essentials, such as In Plain Sight, Stock Option, all the power-up drop related gobblegums, Alchemical, Wall Power, and a few other ones that were on the easier side to code. Now it's time to get into the map's added Easter egg. Upon loading into the map, you are met with a familiar alarm and voice telling you that the power is off. That voice is paired with an unfamiliar one. A man named Dr. Schroeder introduces himself, then reveals to the player that the outbreak is all his fault.
Zero times 2 is still 0.
This is all my fault. Unfortunately, in my panic at the outbreak, I attacked myself. I am the very monster with this laboratory.
He tells us that in the panic of the outbreak, he has trapped himself in the Nova 6 lab and that we must release the gas. The main playable characters are the standard ones on 5, JFK, Castro, McNamara, and Nixon. As with any other zombies Easter egg, the first course of action is to turn on the power. Once we get the power on, Schroeder contacts us again saying we need to get a generator from the basement, but 2 keycards are needed to release the magnetic locks on it.
Turning on the power will destroy the spark of our quest. You must find a generator somewhere here in this basement. 2 key cards are required to release the magnetic locks. Find them.
No ammo?
After going on a little fetch quest to get both keycards, we can go back to the autopsy room and pick up the generator.
All out. So be it. I'm done with your insufferable calls.
Schroeder tells us to use this generator to bring the server room online so we can get security codes. We take the generator to the war room and we must defend it for 60 seconds while it powers up. Then, once around, we can teleport into the server room and try and get the security codes. Now, in the few runs that I played of this mod, this step has been the most frustrating. It's not a difficult step by any means, I just have terrible luck finding the code. You're placed in a room with an array of servers and any one of them has the prompt to get the security codes. You have about 60 seconds to check as many servers as possible before you are booted out and must come back next round. Once you manage to find the code, you are teleported back into the war room. Schroeder then instructs you to head to the basement to release the Nova 6 gas, in order to eliminate all of the drone experiments, which I presume are the parasites.
Give me a revive. You're too ready to handle alone.
It will unleash the remainder of my creation.
I am in your debt.
To equip the Nova gas.
2 waypoint markers appear on your HUD, one for the Nova 6 suit and one for the gas release button. Putting the hazmat suit on changes you to the Black Ops 2 CDC character model. This is the point of no return in the Easter egg, and as soon as you release the Nova 6 gas, the final sequence starts. Releasing the gas locks you in the basement with parasites constantly spawning for a few minutes. Once the elevator is able to be used again, you must rush up to the war room and then up to the main office levels to interact with a server that's not there in the original map. Doing this will free Dr. Schroeder, and he will speak to you in an ominous tone, saying it's time to hold up his end of the bargain and to meet him in the war room.
I have been freed. Thank you, my friends. Now it's time for me to hold up my end. I'll be seeing you in the war room.
Once you make your way down to the war room, you're faced with the unthinkable, a floating Panzer. He reveals to you that he was the one who created the parasites, and that this was all part of his master plan to take over the world.
Thank you for your help. I created these beasts to move.
Here, Bubby Bubby, I have a treat for you.
Proceed with my plans. You help me, I will exterminate everything. This world will fall to me.
A boss fight ensues where Schroeder floats around the room, launching EMPs at you while parasites swarm you. There are no special mechanics at play here, you just have to unload a bunch of bullets at the Schroeder as he's a really big bullet sponge. Although there is a unique HUD graphic that appears when you are in range of his EMP attack. This fight's pretty easy as long as you don't get swarmed while reloading. After enough damage to Schroeder, he will fall into the middle of the room and explode. He drops both a permanent fire sale and bonfire sale. Now, you must enter the server room one last time to get the nuke codes again. Once you get them, you have the option to set off a nuke and destroy the map. A yellow waypoint with the words nuke written on it appears on your HUD. It's pointing to a console near the power switch. Once you hit it, you have to make your way back up to the offices so you can escape. All the teleporters are off and the elevator's not working for the moment, so you have to hold out for a minute while parasites swarm you. Once the elevator's back online, it's a mad dash to the offices. The waypoint points you to a closed shutter door that when you walk up to it, puts you on the other side, outside of the regular play area of 5. If you play Classified, you're familiar with this area, but it's still cool to see in the BO1 version. Once you reach the exit, your game ends and a cutscene plays, showing the 4 characters dressed in their hazmat suits, standing outside waiting for the Pentagon to explode.
The future is not a gift. It is an achievement.
It fades to black and the credits roll, ending with a foreboding message. Dr. Schroeder will return. For a Black Ops 1 mod, Dr. Low Robot knocks it out of the park. With no official mod tools, he managed to add a full Easter egg and various essential gameplay changes to an old fan favorite map. I'm now going to delve into some of the issues I had with the map, but let's be real, this was a first of its kind mod for a difficult to mod game, so take all these with a grain of salt. The Easter egg is a little handholdy with all the waypoints and different objectives, but it might be necessary because the custom voice lines really don't come through clear at all, and the objectives aren't too obscure anyway, so the waypoints aren't really taking away much of the mystery. In my opinion, the server code step is quite annoying because you're spamming interact in a giant room with things that look exactly the same, and when I finally found the right one and teleported out, it downed me as soon as I got out of that room. Now, as you can imagine, creating mods for a game that was not really meant to be modded can cause some issues, and this mod is quite buggy sometimes. When doing the Easter egg, the parasite rounds either wouldn't end or kept ending after only 1 or 2 kills, and sometimes the parasites would get stuck on different floors, but the teleporters and elevators would be disabled, so I couldn't go get them, and I would have to wait for them to eventually despawn in order to progress. Last little nitpick, this is just a mod limitation, but every custom item placed in the map, such as the gobblegum machine or the server in the starting room, has no collision. It doesn't affect gameplay, just kind of funny. Even with these issues and bugs, Nova 6 is a great experience, and I highly recommend checking it out if you own Black Ops 1 on PC. Director on Set is a mod for Black Ops 1 Call of the Dead, released in early 2016. It was a recreation of the turned game mode from Black Ops 2, but with George Romero chasing you instead of zombies. It functioned quite differently as well. 4 players load in and are placed at the top of the lighthouse to pick a class. Each class has a unique loadout of different weapons and perks along with special abilities. I'll go through them quickly. Recon has a sniper, and its unique abilities are a cloak to go invisible and a tracker that you can track George with. The Demolition class uses an LMG and has an RPG and Lightning Strike as their special ability. The Medic uses an assault rifle and has Phoenix Up and a revive shot as their ability. Lastly, the Engineer has an SMG and can place down either a Tesla trap or an ammo box as their special ability. Now that's the loadouts for the survivors, but George has his own special loadout. His main weapon is his studio light that he can melee with, but he can also do a slam attack that shocks nearby players, but it has a cooldown and takes a little bit of health each time he does it. He's also got special light bulb shock chargers that when we used them, they weren't really effective. The main goal of this game mode is to be the last team standing. The 3 survivors have 250 HP, while George has 37,500 HP. Most of the map is playable besides the back ship area. Players must use everything in their arsenal to do as much damage to George as possible while avoiding downing. Since George has a lot of health, ammo quickly becomes a problem. There are ammo boxes around the map that you can purchase ammo from, or the Engineer can place an ammo crate for everybody to use. One of my favorite things about this mod is the custom HUD. Everything has changed. The perk shaders, ammo counter, and even the power-up drops have their own unique look. Now, to have a good time with this mod, you're gonna need a full lobby. I can't see this being fun with just 2 people. As with most asymmetrical games, if you're ever down 1 player, your odds of winning go into the gutter. When I played this with friends, the director won every time, but we figured if the survivors lock in and have an actual strategy, then it would become a lot more evenly matched. We had a pretty good time playing, but getting to the game was a pain in the ass because PC Black Ops 1 jank. We couldn't connect to each other's lobbies and it just would crash all the time. We wish we could have chosen who would be the director, as it's random when you load in, and a couple people kept getting it over and over again. We also found that some of the abilities were a lot more effective than others, which made some completely useless. The Medic and Engineer were definitely the most powerful classes because we can only find 1 ammo box, and if George camped it, we would be screwed with no Engineer. The revive abilities were also very important to prevent downed player camping. Director on Set is one of those mods that you play for a few hours one night and probably don't go back for a couple years. Once everyone has been the director at least once and tried out all the different abilities, there isn't really much left to do. Unless you get really competitive and want to form strategies, the fun runs dry pretty quick. I do recommend trying this out with a bunch of friends though. When it's a fresh experience, it's a blast. It just doesn't have much longevity, and that's okay, it doesn't have to. It's fun for what it is. After the successful launch of Nova 6, not even 2 months later, Dr. Low Robot dropped another groundbreaking mod for Black Ops 1, Project Thor.
Dr. Schroeder's here. Project Thor. Of course. I knew he'd come back for it.
Greatness comes only when you're really tested.
Thor announcement protocol enabled.
Moving on from the map 5, this mod takes us to the Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan, where the original map Ascension takes place. The 5 crew of JFK, Castro, McNamara, and Nixon all return to meet up with a new sentient AI character to try and stop Dr. Schroeder for good. Project Thor boasts many of the new gameplay additions that were introduced in the previous map. Let's take a look at some now. There is a whole new UI art style, and it has a mechanical aesthetic with some Soviet Union imagery mixed in. It gives a unique feel to stand out from the regular Zombies experience. It also has a custom soundtrack. Project Thor boasts a whole new arsenal of over 30 weapons from Call of Duty Ghosts, Black Ops 3, and Advanced Warfare. It also has 2 new wonder weapons with their own upgrade paths. We'll touch on those in a little bit, along with the new specialist weapon. Pack-a-Punching applies a blue animated camo to your weapon that kinda looks like a knockoff version of the Origins camo, and your bullets have blue tracers. One cool thing I noticed is that I bought the Ripper from Ghosts off the wall, and you're able to change the scopes on it with a button press, and it also swaps models. I'm pretty sure this was a Nova 6 as well, but I can only imagine how difficult that was to add in Black Ops 1. The map adds in a few new perks that weren't originally in Ascension. Deadshot Daiquiri and Double Tap 2.0 make an appearance. The Gobblegum machine from Nova 6 returns with some upgrades. You can get a Perkaholic from it now. Project Thor also introduces a whole new mechanic to the map by adding a jetpack you can grab near stamina. It functions more like a double jump, but still adds a whole new level of movement to the game. The parasites from Nova 6 return in place of the monkey rounds. The landers still fall from the sky and the atmosphere of the round stays, but the parasites act similar to dogs and don't attack perks. There's a mini music Easter egg added where you interact with a small box with sands on it that plays Megalovania from the game Undertale. If you could remember, keep Undertale in the back of your mind for when we go over the next map in the series. Now let's get back to those two wonder weapons. As you make your way through the map, you might notice boxes with satellite dishes over them. These are soul boxes you must fill in order to obtain one of the map's wonder weapons, the HD-40 Experimental. The HD-40 Experimental is literally the HD-40 from Black Ops 3 with a cool camo, and every few shots it has a frost blast effect that freezes and damages surrounding zombies. There are two upgrade paths you can take for the HD-40 found in the rocket pad. Let's go over the Thunder variant first. The upgrade process involves shooting 3 targets around the map that are only visible when riding the lander, then getting 50 kills with the frost blast effect, then jumping through different targets around the map with your jetpack. Once you jump to the last one, a beeping noise will start playing near the centrifuge. You must now get 30 kills in the danger zone of the centrifuge. Once complete, the upgrade part will spawn from a portal nearby. Take it back to the rocket pad and build the upgrade. It's called the Resonance Cascade and produces a thunder gun effect every few bullets. Now the fire upgrade starts the same way by grabbing the quest from the launch pad. The first step here is to shoot 3 red targets around the map. They're pretty easy to spot and you don't need to use the lander for them. Next, get 30 kills near the stamina fire trap. After the kills, 4 red targets will spawn around the map, but they only appear after the previous one is destroyed. You have to use explosives to get rid of them. I found cooking a grenade is the easiest way and they aren't too hard to hit. The next step is getting 30 kills at the other fire trap near the launch pad. After that's done, a portal will spawn with the upgrade part in it. Simply take it back to where you picked up the quest and now you have your fire upgraded HD-40. It's called the Passionate Vehemence and shoots PhD explosions every couple bullets. The other wonder weapon is the Blunderbuss from Advanced Warfare. This can only be obtained out of the box and has 3 separate upgrades. The way to upgrade these is just by holding interact at different locations around the map, usually using your jetpack. The Space Cats variant is found near the spawn teddy bear. The Thunderpipe variant is near where you shoot the Gersh device during the normal Ascension Easter egg. The last variant is the Dragonfire, which is found above the stairs near Mule Kick. Each of these variants give the Blunderbuss a unique new look and can be pack-a-punched. They don't seem to be functionally different. They might do more damage, but I can't really tell. Project Thor also has its own specialist weapon, which, as you should remember, specialist weapons were not around until Black Ops 3. The specialist weapon here is the gravity spikes. They function exactly like their BO3 counterpart, but these have custom animations and code written by the mod developers. They weren't just straight up copy and pasted from BO3, which makes this an extremely impressive feat to add into the game. The spikes are quite easy to build. The 3 parts can be obtained as follows: by riding to any lander, killing the last parasite of the parasite round, and picking up a part from the launch pad. Now that we've gone through all the gameplay features along with the map's unique wonder weapons, let's dive into the map's main quest. The map launches by throwing you directly into the Cosmodrome. No slow lander descent while turning black and white. A friendly sounding voice calls out to you from the centrifuge, happy that someone finally showed up. He tells you to go to the control room to open the emergency hatch and let him out. An automated voice then blares from the speakers, stating that the Thor announcement protocol is enabled, and that the launch sequence is awaiting power activation.
Hello? I can hear you, but I'm in the centrifuge. I can't believe it. Someone's finally here. Just, go to the centrifuge control room and open the emergency hatch.
Thor announcement protocol enabled. Thor launch protocol awaiting power activation.
After making your way up the map and turning on the power, the regular announcement from Ascension plays telling you that the rocket is approaching the test position, but it is appended with a notice that a utility bot is detected and maintenance protocols are online. The rocket begins to move to the launch pad, but it looks a little different than you remember.
Main power online. Auxiliary power deactivated. Rocket approaching test position.
Utility bot A05 detected. Maintenance protocols online.
You're now able to open the hatch on the centrifuge and let your new friend out. But before you do, an old friend makes himself known. Dr. Schroeder comes over the announcement mics and explains that the different rocket you noticed earlier is actually Project Thor, a super weapon satellite of his design, and once it's in orbit, nothing can stop him from his ultimate plan.
Oh, wow. Look who it is! Surprised to hear from me?
Navigation systems. Awaiting security protocol 13255.
See that? Project Thor, a weapon I worked on with an old colleague. Once it's in orbit, nothing will stand in my way. Step aside and let me finish what I started.
Once you open the centrifuge hatch, what looks like an iBot from Fallout pops out. He exclaims he's been stuck inside since the outbreak started. Dr. Schroeder is shocked that our new friend, named Coleman, is still alive, and that he thought he could dispose of him in that iBot. Coleman refers to Schroeder as an old friend when he tells him that putting him in that iBot made him no longer mortal.
Centrifuge emergency override enabled.
Finally. Thank you. I've been stuck in there since this whole outbreak started.
Coleman?
Dr. Schroeder's here.
I thought I had disposed of you in that iBot.
Oh, I'm very much alive, old friend. Just not mortal. Did you forget what these iBots were for?
Regardless, I will succeed. You're worthless in that state.
We'll see about that.
Coleman makes his way up to the power switch where the player is supposed to follow him. He discovers that Project Thor is getting prepared for launch. He tells us that it's impossible to stop the launch, but we can try and override the controls. Coleman suggests that we can use the Thor satellite to defeat Schroeder.
Project Thor, of course. I knew he'd come back for it. We can't stop the launch, but we can override the controls. We can use Thor to defeat him. I'll meet you at the launch pad.
You both then go to the launch pad to assess the situation. Coleman goes up into the rocket and tries to gain access to it, but accidentally trips the security.
Coleman, what are you doing?
Unauthorized access to Thor rocket protocol. Security fallback activated.
Isn't that unfortunate?
Damn it! Security's tripped! Okay, Power station. Access the 4 servers in the power station. It should give us access to the security override.
The player must then override the security by interacting with different computers on the floors below the power switch.
Security override accepted. Reference code 05-103.
Alright, we're getting somewhere. But now, we need to stop the fuel from entering the rocket. Turn the valve underneath the rocket launch site. It'll pressurize the pipes and cause them to leak.
Once the security is bypassed, the fuel has to be stopped from entering the rocket. You go turn on a valve on the launch pad, but that causes a leak, so you must use your HD-40 experimental with the frost blast effect to seal 4 different fuel pipes around the map.
Alert. Fuel leaks detected. Cut off fuel supply or seal immediately.
Fuel levels are dropping!
Okay, good. Now, use the HD-40 experimental to freeze the pipes. From what I can see, there's 4 leaks.
Once this is done, since the fuel levels are no longer adequate for launch, it's postponed. This gives us enough time before the launch in order to install a remote override on the satellite.
Alert. Fuel levels dropped. Launch postponed.
Exactly what we wanted.
Do you even know what you're doing?
Now we need to install the remote override into the Thor satellite. There should be a piece of hardware in one of these rocket crash sites. You should be able to use some sort of kinetic blast to force it out.
We have to use our gravity spikes near it down the rocket in order to uncover the device.
This weapon could make a weaker man lazy.
Take it to the launch scaffolding and mount it onto the Thor satellite.
We have to go near the sickle wall by and boost up to the ledge with our jetpack. Doing this teleports us outside the playable area and up near where we can physically mount the hacking device onto the satellite. This section can get a little buggy because there's a lot of things that don't have collision and there's plenty of invisible walls. Once you mount the device, Schroeder notices and accuses you of tampering with his research. Coleman suggests we override the landers to use as an escape route once we complete our mission.
Are you tampering with my research?
Alright, we're going to need to find an escape route. The landers. There's a few power converters near the lander station. Find out which one is active and bring the override online.
To do that, we have to find out what landers have a sparking generator near them and fill them up with souls. If you're in solo, it's only 2, but in co-op it requires you to fill all 4.
More tender than roast beef.
Lander station override accepted.
Coleman, stop this, now!
All lander station overrides complete. Return to original station to enable destination override.
Almost there. Finalize the lander override in the centrifuge's control room.
Once we fill up the generators, we have to go to the centrifuge controls in order to input where we want our overridden lander to take us.
Run if you must,
Lander
but you cannot hide
destination
from me,
overrides online. Undefined station available.
Now we can navigate the lander manually, wherever we want to.
Guess I shouldn't have made those budget cuts.
Active station count. 9, 9, 9, 9, 9.
Come back to the power switch.
We regroup with Coleman and he drops some important intel on us. He tells us Schroeder isn't the real threat in the grand scheme of things. Coleman reveals that Dr. Robot put us in this situation and caused all of the outbreaks to happen, even though he's been helping us throughout the maps. Dr. Robot seems like this universe's Dr. Monty, as his name is plastered on the gobblegum machines and all of the chalk drawings have a unique flair to them. He put together this timeline of events, and if we go on to defeat Schroeder now, it would anger him because it wasn't the way he intended it to go. Coleman has a plan to apprehend him, but we have to deal with Project Thor first. He will do some work on the satellite to make sure we can control it with the device we put it on earlier.
Alright, I'm going to lay something a little heavy on you. Dr. Schroeder isn't much of a threat. There is someone much more threatening, and they're responsible for everything that's happening. And that threat is the very man who seems to have been helping you all along. Dr. Robot. He put you here, and he caused all of this to happen. He wrote the story, and you are all part of it. Defeating Schroeder out of line with the story Dr. Robot had set up will anger him. I do have a plan to apprehend him, but for now, just listen to what I tell you, and be ready for anything. Everything is set up to go. I just need to do some work to the satellite to completely enable our control relay. I should be able to complete it before Dr. Schroeder thaws the fuel pipes. But I will need you to cover me should Dr. Schroeder attempt anything. I'll meet you at the launch pad when you're ready, but hurry.
We go down to the launch pad to provide Coleman with some cover as he takes action. A neat remixed version of Megalovania plays throughout the final battle sequence. This foreshadows something we'll see on the next map. We get locked inside of the launch pad as Dr. Schroeder sends in waves of the undead to try and stop us. After about 5 minutes have passed, Coleman will be done with the relay and the doors to the gantry will open, and we have to take cover in there while the rocket launches. Schroeder goes ahead with the launch, expecting Project Thor to help complete his master plan. We then have 2 minutes to get to the lander to take us a safe distance away from the Cosmodrome before Thor is in orbit.
All launch protocols complete. Clear the launch pad.
He is forcing the launch. Get inside the gantry. Hurry!
Initiating launch protocol. Systems check nominal. Status update complete. 5, 3, 2. Warning. Launch in progress. Stage 3 initiation complete. Luna protocol online.
I've activated the Thor targeting systems. You have 2 minutes to move to the landing before Thor is in orbit.
How are you not dead yet?
Warning. Remote weapon system override detected. Targeting systems locked. Estimated time until orbit. 1.5 minutes.
All out. So be it.
Schroeder becomes furious when he finds out the targeting systems were overridden and are locked onto the Cosmodrome. We must find our way around newly blocked paths in order to get to the Stamina Up lander. Once there, we step on and then escape, as the whole map turns to rubble. With the Project Thor satellite in orbit, we now have access to a plethora of information that will help us find out how best to deal with Dr. Robot. Comparing Project Thor's Easter egg to the standard Ascension Easter egg is night and day. It has a rich, easy to follow story, and the steps are fun and not obscure. It boasts its own wonder weapons. Although they are reused assets, they have a unique twist with a special upgrade path or custom variants that you can find around the map. The extra gameplay features, such as Gobblegum, allow for replayability, hoping that you pulled that elusive Perkaholic. The attention to detail is also very notable. The Matryoshka dolls representing the Victus crew have been replaced with the 5 crew, which is very neat. One big improvement from Nova 6 is the clarity of the voice acting. I can hear every voice line super clear, and this greatly enhances the ease of the main quest and the enjoyability of the story. I was a little disappointed about the parasites coming back. I feel like even a simple model swap for something different could have helped, or even keep the monkey AI and have them attack perks. I feel like that would have made them a little bit more fresh. I experienced a semi-game-breaking bug when I purchased the sickle off the wall. For the rest of the game, I couldn't sprint, interact with anything, or swap weapons. Luckily, the final boss fight and the end sequence could still be completed. Like I've said before and will continue to say, without proper mod tools and a small development team, bugs are expected and not really that big a deal. Also, the final boss is a little too easy. You don't have to kill a single zombie and you can just run in circles for 5 minutes. I think a soul box of some sort would have been a great addition in order to keep the player on their toes, so zombies can continue to spawn in through those portals that show up, allowing them to cut the player off. When playing this map with some friends, one of us managed to get outside the map and couldn't get back in with the gravity spikes and jetpack, but he was trying his hardest to break the map, so that was kind of fun. The story of the Nova 6 series doesn't end here. Our crew is in the lander on the way to the Himalaya Mountains in Nepal to unearth the secrets of Fury's Temple. The Fury's Temple mod for Shangri-La continues the Nova 6 series in dramatic fashion. In this third epic chapter, we travel to the Black Ops 1 map Shangri-La to experience it with a new Easter egg and boss fight, along with plenty of new mechanics from some of the more recent entries to the Call of Duty Zombie series. If you haven't checked out any of my other Nova 6 series retrospectives, please make sure to check them out before this one, where you might be a little lost on why we are here and what we're doing. The links are in the description. Like the previous 2 mods in the Nova 6 series, Fury's Temple introduces a bunch of new gameplay changes and additions to the map. The Gobblegum machine makes a return with many advanced Gobblegums. The wall buys and weapon selection are similar to Project Thor, with a few additions. The EM1 and Cell 3 Cauterizer from Advanced Warfare make an appearance. The HD40 and Blunderbuss also return from Project Thor, but they are just their base variants with no special upgrades. Fury's Temple features 2 new wonder weapons, the Fury Song Sword Specialist, and the Jet Gun, the Soul Catcher. The Fury Song is obtainable through the main quest, so I'll go over that later, but the Soul Catcher is a simple buildable. One of the parts is at the top of one of the water geysers on the map. The next part is at the end of the minecart fast travel, and the last part is dropped from a Shrieker zombie. It works just like its transit counterpart, but doesn't break apart when overheated. The custom HUD for this mod is themed around the dragon statues and the puzzle wheels in the mud maze. The zombie shield is also available in Fury's Temple. It has parts scattered all around the map. The design of the shield looks like the one from Shadows of Evil. This mod adds some new perks that were not in the original version of Shangri-La. Electric Cherry and Widow's Wine have their machines placed into the map, along with Double Tap being upgraded to its 2.0 variant, just like the other mods in the series. The Pack-a-Punch camo on this map is a nice emerald green with green bullet tracers. One interesting change the developers made was to the way the Pack-a-Punch machine functions on this map. Usually, on the original version of Shangri-La, you have to stand on the correct platform to get a certain portion of a totem pole to stop spinning, and then once all 4 portions have stopped spinning, Pack-a-Punch opens. However, in this map, Pack-a-Punch is accessible in intervals after the power gets turned on, so there's no need to stand on any platforms. The stairs switch between usable and unusable every minute or so. And one last little thing that they changed is those spikes that shoot up when you're leaving the spawn room. They got rid of them entirely, which I love, because they were so annoying when going through them. The time trials from Gorod, Krovik, and Revelations are introduced in this map. There's a spot in spawn where you can interact to show a timer so you can track your progress. Doing 5 rounds in 6 minutes gets you the wrench. 10 rounds in 14 minutes gets you the skull splitter. 15 rounds in 24 minutes gets you the MVP. And lastly, the super special weapon for doing 20 rounds in 38 minutes allows you to purchase the Doom shotgun off the wall. This thing is super cool. The graphics look straight out of the classic game and the gun sits in the middle of the screen. You can Pack-a-Punch it too. Fury's Temple has its own intro cutscene when you launch the map. It's more like a monologue by Coleman, which gives us a reason to why we were in Shangri-La in the first place. Have a listen.
We leveled the entire Cosmodrome. It was necessary though. Kind of. This satellite holds a lot of information, and I've been reading up on something that could help us in our endeavors. We're moving to a temple in the Himalayas. There's some artifacts there that will give us the power to open the Apocalypse Rift. This rift is fairly important. It will let us fight Dr. Robot head-on. The lander has just enough fuel to get you there. Once you land, you'll be all out. Communications will be offline. You'll have to enable a radio uplink somewhere near the temple. Welcome to Fury's Temple.
The Fury's Temple main quest starts us off descending down on the lander we took from the Cosmodrome in Project Thor. Our communications with Coleman are cut off, so we must figure out a way to turn on the power at this ancient temple. We activate the 2 water wheels in the temple's depths, and Coleman comes over the radio trying to see if we can hear him.
Am I on the right frequency? Hello? Is this even working?
Above ground, we go to the radio and make proper contact with Coleman. He asks us if we can try and patch him through to the temple's loudspeaker system that was used during its mining operation.
Meet as an anagram for team, you know.
What? Wow, okay, it actually worked. I kind of wasn't expecting that. Seriously relieving to hear that you made it to the temple, though. I have a couple of files on this temple's mining operations. Hold on one moment, please. According to this, I'm talking to you from the radio tower. Yeah. Is there any way you could connect me to the loudspeakers? We're going to need constant communication if we're going to get that rift open.
After Coleman is able to communicate with us through the PA system, he tells us that we must lure Dr. Robot out using the Apocalypse Rift, which is a portal to the device he is trapped within. Coleman likens it to Pandora's box. Once it's open, the world is going to be destroyed, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Our 2-step plan to complete our mission is to refuel the lander and open the rift. A lot easier said than done. In Fury's Temple, there is a legendary sword that has the power to open the rift, and in order to obtain it, we must first find the ritual stone.
Alright, we are in business. Okay, now, to defeat Dr. Robot, we need to lure him out. To do that, we'll use the Apocalypse Rift. Now, the Apocalypse Rift is essentially a portal to this device that is trapped inside. It's called a QED. It's sort of like an infinite box that just goes on and on and on. Unfortunate side effect, kind of like Pandora's box. After we open it, it'll destroy the world. But don't worry, we'll put it back together again later. There's a couple of things that we're going to have to take care of to do that. First of all, we have got to refuel the lander. We're going to use that to reach the portal. The other thing is to, well, open the rift, of course. A legendary sword resides in this temple. It alone possesses the power to open the rift.
You'll have to find the ritual stone to obtain it. Try to find some leftover mining explosives and then use it on the meteor.
We have to use some mining explosives to blow up a chunk of the meteor sitting above the water slide. Once we pick it up, Coleman gets excited and tells us we need to go to the rituals tables scattered around the temple and offer each of them a blood sacrifice.
You found the stone! Good! Great, actually. You could do it. Okay. Reading this. Darken it. Oh. It looks like you're having a wedding with a blood sacrifice using the ritual stone. Take it to the ritual tables around the temple. Once you've done enough, you should be able to summon the Fury Soul.
So we go around to the 3 tables not in front of Pack-a-Punch and fill them with zombie souls. Once that's done, we can go to the ritual table right in front of the Pack-a-Punch stairs. This starts the final ritual, which keeps spawning in Shrieker zombies until it's finished. The Fury Song sword levitates down, and we grab hold of it, feeling its immense power. The sword is a specialist weapon, so it appears in one of our equipment slots. Its attacks involve swinging it to shoot out blades of energy that do a lot of damage to the undead. Now that we have the means to open the rift, all we have to do now is fill up the lander.
The Fury Song. This sword possesses a power beyond understanding, and with it, we can open the Apocalypse Rift. But before we can do that, we still need to fuel up the lander. Unfortunately, this station is out of commission. It doesn't have a fuel supply. We'll have to create our own. Try to find a combustion engine. There should be one underground. They keep a few for the mining equipment.
We need to find a combustion engine in order to get the lander station operational. We go underground near the water wheels and spot one. It's missing a power switch, so we go out and find one above ground. After flipping the switch, it seems like it's out of fuel, so we must get a napalm zombie to explode near it to give it a jump start.
It's out of fuel. Maybe it's something you could use to jump start. Something that explodes. That could have been. So make sure you can cool it down somehow. Alright, now turn off the engine and take it to the lander station. It should fuel it up.
After we set it on fire, we use the soul catchers to suck away the flames so we can pick it up and move it upstairs near the lander. We then get laughed at by Coleman for carrying an entire combustion engine in our back pocket, but we pay it no mind and fuel up the lander. Now we're ready to open the rift, but wait, it has no power.
Wait, you actually carried an entire engine up it? Okay, sorry. Just pull the switch and fill the reserves. Now we can open the rift. Wait, is that lander station not powered? You've got to be joking. Okay. I'll check the satellite view, hold on. Aha! Okay, I can see a heavy generator by that bridge near Waterfall. It looks like it's been there a while though.
That's right.
You're
gonna give me what I want.
Something that can produce a sonic shockwave of sorts should do the trick.
We spot a generator dangling off a cliff nearby the waterfall, so we go get a Shrieker zombie to knock it loose. It falls in front of the waterfall, so we try and use the ritual stone to levitate it up, but it gets stuck along the way, so we have to give it a bump with some grenades.
That actually worked. Okay, now we need to bring it to the lander.
Once it gets back to the lander station, we need to give it a kickstart with some energy weapons. We can use either the EM1 or Cell 3 cauterizer for this. A few fire cells spawn in at this point, just in case we don't have the required weapons, as are only obtainable from the box. Coleman then gives us some coordinates to enter into the lander station. Those coordinates are the location the rift will open. Once it opens, it will merge our dimensions with any other dimensions trapped within it, which will make finding Dr. Robot very easy. Coleman warns about the grave dangers in doing this, but it's a problem to be solved later on.
Is it not starting? Alright, is there an energy weapon here? You could force start it with one of those. True electricians. Okay, now just enter these coordinates into the land station. Listen closely. It's 28.5983 degrees north by 83.9311 degrees east. Now this is exactly where the rift will open, according to these documents, and I hope they're accurate. Once the rift is entered, it will merge our dimension with any dimensions contained inside of ours, including the QED. This will make finding Dr. Robot a simple task. From what I know, Dr. Robot being freed from his limited power state will thrust the world into an apocalyptic state. I mean, it's not like we're about to awaken an omnipotent being that travels through dimensions and destroys them and everyone in them, who is infinitely more powerful than the initial threat that was before us. Right? Okay, each one of you place your sword on a ritual table. Then, place the meteor at the table beside the land station.
We place the Fury Song and Ritual Stone on the ritual tables to collect souls. Once enough souls are collected, the rift is opened. We then lose contact with Coleman, but there's only one thing left to do. Fly up with the lander and enter the rift.
The bloodiest wars in history involve buttercups and hippies.
Oh my god! It's opening! The rift is opening!
Once inside the rift, we are transported to a black void space. We're standing on a square platform. A strange flower named Flowey appears on a floating TV screen and begins to talk to us, thanking us for allowing him to travel into our dimension to destroy it. Flowey reveals his true form, a giant 3D modeled version of Photoshop Flowey from Undertale. Now, I've never played Undertale, so if you know the significance of this, please let me know in the comments. Once the boss fight starts, Flowey has multiple different attacks he can throw at you. I'll list them off here. He drops bombs on you. He shoots vines from his arms. He shoots a giant laser from his mouth. He can send a swarm of bugs at you. He can shoot out these cross projectiles from his eyes. He can use a flamethrower on you. And he can place exploding circles that have shrapnel on the platform. So it's a lot of different things coming at you with little to no break in between attacks. Most of these attacks don't do a lot of damage on their own, but can easily overwhelm you. You also can't do any damage to Flowey at this time. After around 30 seconds of surviving these attacks, the first minigame will start, Sharpshooter. You teleport to a new location that has 4 platforms with walls that you can jump between. You must hit every target in the void before the timer runs out. Once it's done, it's back to Flowey's swarm of attacks. After a little while, the next minigame will start. It's a parkour time trial. You must finish the obstacle course before the timer runs out. This place features moving platforms and it can be a bit tricky if you aren't careful, or you don't have stamina. Once you complete the trial, you're teleported back for the third phase of attacks. This introduces the true power of Flowey. He still has the same attacks, but can save and reload your position on the platform at will, effectively teleporting you around wherever and whenever he wants. While we're on the topic of saving and reloading, one of the wildest features of this mod is that if you fully die in a boss fight, and your game ends at any point during this boss fight, the next time you launch the mod, you're put right back into it, with hopefully the same loadout. Mine was different, it got swapped around, but I was using a mod menu when recording, so that might have been why. Now you start from phase 1, but still this is a really crazy feature to have. The last minigame is the mule kick trial. You spawn on one of many platforms surrounding a giant revolver. The revolver follows you around and tries to shoot at the platform you're standing on, so you must keep moving in order to survive. After doing all 3 minigames, you'll receive all perks on the map. Flowey's defense drops to 0, so you're able to lay into him with anything and everything you have.
Guess I shouldn't have made those budget cuts.
After getting his HP to 0, which takes quite a while, Flowey fakes his demise for a moment before reloading the save, stripping you of all your equipment and killing you over and over again. He monologues some more and tells you to cry out for Coleman to save you. Just before he kills you, his weapons disappear and he becomes a little confused. The Fury Song swords show up in the void and position to strike Flowey. They then form a new rift while Flowey tries to reload the save but can't. As he begins to panic, the Project Thor satellite comes flying out of the rift and strikes Flowey, killing him. At this point, we're teleported out of the rift and back to Shangri-La. A string of text pops up saying we have destroyed the universe. Coleman appears from near the Pack-a-Punch machine, but is cut off by an ethereal sounding voice saying that they have finally arrived. You're teleported to yet another void where a blue flying alien speaks to you, saying all of our actions have helped them spread their quote-unquote light, and we can choose whether or not to embrace them, and that our star will become theirs.
Oh, thank God! I finally found you!
We have finally arrived.
Who?
Yours. Open the gateway and thank you. Yours will be remembered as the light prince of your star. We have already infected your race. Yours kind. They have worked against yours. But yours continued to resist. The metal husk bestowed with sentiency. We had told them lies. We had a plan, and yours helped us. All of your actions have helped us spread our light. We will allow yours to choose to embrace us. Yours darkness will be replaced with our light. Your star will become ours.
No. No. That can't be true. There's no way. All of it was wrong. Every last thing. No. We can't give up. I have one last idea. You'll have to trust me on this one. Just one more time. Mr. President, I need you to get us to Area 51. That jump gate is being constructed in space. We need to get in orbit. Bring the ritual stone. We need to stop the jump gate from being constructed.
Now, this part was a little bit confusing to me, as these were new characters and they're a little bit hard to understand, so I might not have the story correct here, but Coleman seems distraught and recognizes the creature. Coleman has one last idea to save the world, stopping the jump gate from being constructed. We take the ritual stone and head off to Area 51. This concludes the main quest of Fury's Temple. Unlike the other 2 maps in the Nova 6 series, the base map Shangri-La has one of the more well-remembered Easter eggs in the franchise, as it was one of the first major main quests introduced, and also one of the more difficult quests. Dr. Little Robot had big shoes to fill here, and it exceeded my expectations. The quest was fun to solve, and with all the new objects around the map, it felt like a completely separate experience from Shangri-La. The little XP pop-up that gives you extra points at the end of the round, that's like BO3, is a really nice touch. The boss fight was really a treat, as getting this to work on Black Ops 1 seems pretty insane, especially with all the saving and loading stuff. I love the change made to have Pack-a-Punch on an interval, as I always hated opening it the normal way on Shang. The soundtrack in Fury's Temple is great, especially during the rituals and boss fight. The music flows really well when jumping through all the minigames and different phases. I do wish there was some sort of new special zombie instead of the napalms and shriekers, but I'd much rather have them than the parasites for a third time in a row. I didn't experience any bugs when I played the map for this video, but when I first played this map 8 years ago with some friends, we broke the map by trying to use gobblegums when going up geysers and using Phoenix up. I'll play a few clips now, but bear in mind, we were literally children when this was recorded, so be ready.
Do it then.
Huh?
Them.
What the fuck? Oh god, cover me.
What happened? What is going on?
What happened to you guys?
Connection.
Did you hear that noise, Nick?
What? Alright, go ahead, buddy. Quick. Can you do it this time?
Hey. Oh, wait. I just got perks.
Wait. I did too.
What?
I didn't.
Wait a minute.
I have
I have 2 electric cherries.
I have connection.
Yep, same.
That just crashed my game, Danny.
Really?
Oh.
Alright, guess what we're not doing again, Danny?
But oh no.
Oh no.
I shouldn't have done it. I did think about it.
Nick.
I'm sorry. Alright. One more attempt, and if it crashes again, then we're done.
Fury's Temple is a great experience, and I highly recommend giving it a shot if you own Black Ops 1. Man, I would even go as far as to say buy Black Ops 1 just to play the Nova 6 series as a whole. Now, let's move on to Mindshare. Well, here we are, the grand finale of the Nova 6 series, Mindshare. This Black Ops 1 mod overhauls the main quest and gameplay loop of the map Moon. The story of Mindshare has you working for the final time with Coleman as you uncover deep new mysteries about the Nomad race, collect artifacts, and reverse the Apocalypse Rift. You must stop the Nomads from consuming the sun and defeat a dark, mysterious enemy from consuming your timeline as you know it. Mindshare released September 17, 2017, about a year after Fury's Temple. At this point in time, Dr. Low Robot and the entire team that's been working on the Nova 6 series have gotten accustomed to the methods used to mod Black Ops 1. They pushed the boundaries on what can be modded into a zombies map with our proper mod tools here. They pushed it so far that Mindshare is technically 2 whole maps in one. More on that later. For now, let's hop into an overview of what Mindshare has to offer. Mindshare shakes up the gameplay of Moon to its core. The No Man's Land area is pretty similar, except it has no perks in it. Speed, Cola, and Jug are placed into the main map. The thing is, this is the last time you will see No Man's Land for the rest of the game. You can't use the teleporter to get back. Now you might be asking, how am I gonna pack? Don't worry, Pack-a-Punch cycles through 5 different locations in the map. One is where the Simon Says computers are, right outside of spawn. Another is near a door in the biodome. And lastly, there are locations both inside Tunnel 6 and Tunnel 11, and one in the labs. Turning on power is a much more involved process in Mindshare. There are 6 solar generators at each main location in the map. It costs 500 points to activate, and will spawn solar zombies that you must kill to charge the generators. The original Moon power switch turns into a life support activation switch, only usable after completing the solar generator next to the pyramid. A main component of Moon are the excavators that come down and disrupt map flow by blocking off areas. But on Mindshare, they aren't even on the map, so there's no need to worry about them. Yet another core facet of Moon Mindshare removes is the roaming astronaut. He's just nowhere to be found. Instead, the special enemies are the Nomad drones that show up periodically and have their own max ammo rounds. These Nomad drones are flying enemies with custom pseudo AI that tracks you and is able to shoot projectiles at you. They don't have a whole lot of health but can overwhelm you pretty quickly. During Nomad rounds you might think you can just hide indoors, but they have the ability to teleport you out in the open in order to shoot you easier. Just like the other maps in the Nova 6 series, the Gobblegum machine is placed in different spots around the map, with a large selection of Gobblegums inside, including a Perkaholic. The weapon selection is similar to the past maps, but has more of a space theme now, with more weapons from Advanced Warfare and Infinite Warfare. Some unique weapons are also added from various games, such as the D13 Sector and the Cell 3 Cauterizer. The UI in this map features the Mindshare logo and gives off a blue, alien, otherworldly kind of vibe, if I could describe it like that. There are 5 different Pack-a-Punch camos you can get. They all remind me of a more toned down Revelations camo with a cool parallax effect and various color options. The soundtrack featured here is my favorite in the entire Nova 6 series. The round change music, boss music, special round music is all amazing. Most of it is repurposed from the games Sonic Generations and Freelancer. It feels a lot more high energy than the other maps, which makes it really fitting for a grand finale with high stakes. One huge new addition in Mindshare to both Black Ops 1 and the Nova 6 series is the introduction of a shop mechanic. The shop is located in Tunnel 6 and resembles the upgrade station from Advanced Warfare. Every round you'll get a notification saying there's a new item in the shop, and sometimes it will tell you that there's an epic variant in there. The items range from a small selection of mystery box weapons to weapon variants and trinkets. There are 5 epic variants available in the shop rotation. The DCM-8 Masochist, which has infinite ammo, reduced hipfire spread, but firing the weapon does a little bit of damage to the player. The Bozozuku, which gives bonus damage when hitting below the belt line and reloads faster when the mag is empty. The NV4 Flatline has infinite damage range and no ADS sway. The Big Brother is a sniper that has a reticle scope, extra ammo, and no ADS sway, along with extra points for hitting headshots. The AK-12 Grenadier is pretty self-explanatory. It has an underbarrel grenade launcher and has extra ammo in the stock. In the shop, there are 2 trinkets that you can get. One is an ammo can. It has the effect that when you kill enemies, they have a chance to drop spare ammo. And another is a Gersh device, but upon red screening, there's a 50% chance of it teleporting you to safety. I quite enjoy the shop feature, as it's pretty much a weapon wall buy with a rotating selection each round. The variants are a little underwhelming compared to some on Infinite Warfare, but they're a nice addition. Also a cool little thing, each weapon variant has a weapon charm of a nomad on it. Mindshare has 2 custom wonder weapons in the map, the Tau Cannon and the Mindshare weapon. The Tau Cannon is a buildable that you can build in Tunnel 6. The parts are dropped by killing zombies near solar generators. It takes up an equipment slot in your inventory, almost like a specialist weapon. It's a powerful weapon that I like to use to take out the nomad drones. It kills zombies in little clusters, but it's nothing groundbreaking. Now the Mindshare weapon is this mod's main wonder weapon. The parts are scattered around the map. One is on one of the big jump pads in the biodome, another part is dropped after your first nomad round, and the last part is at the terminal and spawn that you interact with during the moon Easter egg. Now once you have everything, you have to go to Tunnel 11 or Stamina Up to build it. It has a small magazine, but when you shoot zombies they will get stunned in place and then explode. The Pack-a-Punch version adds a turned effect to the weapon, allowing you to have an army of Mindshare zombies fighting for you. After completing the Easter egg on Mindshare, you get special time meter rewards. Down in the shop area, you can pick up the Eraser pistol off the table. It's absolutely overpowered and really fun to use. It can also be pack-a-punched. Also, if you go over to this terminal, you can activate even more rewards. It gives you 15,000 points along with removing the perk limit. Now that we've gone over the main gameplay changes, it's time to take a dive into the main quest of Mindshare. After leaving Fury's temple in a panic after the Nomad race contacted us and began their takeover, Coleman and the presidential crew find themselves in the chaotic Area 51. A large ghost-like figure looms over the test site and opens up a portal for itself to fly through. We stare at it and have absolutely no idea what we're looking at, but it doesn't matter right now, as we need to get moving before the Nomads notice us. At Area 51, there's a teleporter that we can use to take us to the Alta Research Complex, a high-tech, futuristic facility on the moon.
What the hell was that thing? First the entire Nomad race, and now this? We have to find somewhere to run. It's only a matter of time before the Nomads notice we're here.
Once there, we notice the life support systems are down, so we have to put on a PES. Around the complex, there are a bunch of solar generators to activate to give power to the surrounding area.
So on one hand, we have an alien race bent on consuming our solar system. And on the other, we have a terrifying interdimensional creature that's tearing apart time and space. Let's worry about the Nomads first, huh? Small steps.
As we progress deeper, we come across a room with a large pyramid. Once power is on in this room, we can turn on life support back for certain areas. At this base, we learn a lot about the mysterious nomad race. They're a species that can communicate entirely telepathically and have extremely advanced technology, powered by the raw energy of stars. With this advanced technology, they have taken over the human race and turned them into zombies in order to use our sun as an energy source. Somewhere around the complex, there's a crystalline object that has the power to absorb the energy of our sun, and the nomads are here to find it. Coleman tells us that our goal is to find this object, which is known as a power cell, to modify it from absorbing energy from stars to absorbing energy from nomads. This power cell, combined with the Apocalypse Rift from Fury's Temple, is our ticket to sending the nomads back to where they came from.
Nomad technology is really interesting. I mean, talk about solar power, it is powered entirely by the raw energy of stars. Fascinating. There's a crystalline object that nomads seem to be searching for. It's an artifact so powerful that it has the ability to absorb the energy of stars. This artifact, it's called a power cell, well, in English anyway. Our goal here is to modify the power cell in such a way that it can absorb power from nomads. Then, once we combine its power with the Apocalypse Rift, it'll pull all of the nomads straight back through the rift, sending them back where they came from.
As you progress through the rounds, the nomads telepathically speak to you, telling you their goals and about how they have watched the Omnipotent One, who we can only assume was a giant space ghost monster. The nomads mentioned it was created by the Dam Kavash to watch over and manipulate the universe. It was banished by the Dam Kavash to our universe after their power became uncontrollable, so the nomads simply followed it, harnessing the remains of its destruction. They insist that their invasion is the only way to save our universe from the Omnipotent One.
No ca-doodle-doo!
We have watched them. The Omnipotent One. The invader of your universe. They were created by the Dom Kavosh, a sentinel to watch over their universe, to learn and gather. They travel between time, between space, manipulating the universe. Their power became uncontrollable. Their creators banished them into yours universe. Ours follows silently behind, harnessing the remainders of the destruction in its wake. Yours universe is a victim of their self-obsession.
Now let me pause here and say that the Dam Kavash part really came out of left field. I feel like the Nova 6 series had a pretty straightforward story up until the Flowey fight, but now there's so many things going on it's getting a little tough to follow. Anyway, I looked up what the Dam Kavash is, and they're from the game Freelancer, released in 2003. I'm not going to go into any of the lore from it because I'm not sure what parts overlap, and it really doesn't matter for the Nova 6 series. I'm just going to base the story on what they tell me in-game. Once you complete the final solar generator, the Space Ghost monster appears again, flies over the map, and goes back into the portal. Coleman notices that every time it rips through space-time, it brings corrupted pieces back from where and when it traveled to, which corrupts our universe. This explains why the Nova 6 series is taking place to begin with. This universe is corrupted, and all sorts of things aren't where they're supposed to be. Coleman implies the Space Ghost monster is actually Dr. Robot himself. But for now, the more pressing matter is the Nomad problem.
Got your gobble-gobble right here, freaks!
Every time it tears through space, it brings out corrupted pieces of the point in time it travelled from, which in turn is also corrupting our universe. That must be how we got stuck here, in this strange, mashed up universe. Different technologies, different times. That's how you found me at the Cosmodrome, and how I had memories of things that had never actually happened to me. If that thing can control time and space, then that must be... No, it couldn't be. That makes him so much more powerful than I possibly could have imagined. No. We need to focus on the nomads.
We place the Nomad meteor into the pyramid and then shoot it with a Mindshare weapon. The nomads scoff at us, saying we're not a threat to the Great Light.
It looks like there's a slot in front of this pyramid.
Yours those who wish to uncover our creations. For what purpose?
Can we charge it somehow? Nomad artifacts require an immense amount of energy to function.
We play a game of Simon Says with a pyramid. Fun fact, the sequence where it shows the color order to hit the computers is straight from Zombies in Spaceland and Infinite Warfare.
Your efforts are worthless. Empty threats to the grim light.
Aha! You got it! That is loud! What's it doing?
After completing the game, the pyramid fully opens and the power cell begins projecting a beam of light into space. The Nomads question why we want to harness their power.
You got it! It's emitting a beam into space. Look at that thing resonate. It's unreal.
Yours desire to harness ours power. What is yours purpose?
We charge it with plenty of souls and then have to hack the computers around the pyramid to different corresponding solar generators. As we grow closer to reversing this power cell, the Nomads send us more threats. All we need now are some Nomad remains in order to finish the modifications.
Working against ours. Disobeying his plan. Will bring an end to yours world.
Now we just need to modify the power cell to take in Nomad energy. We'll need two things, the meteor and some Nomad remains.
Once we infuse the meteor with the Nomad essence, we must use the computer terminals surrounding the pyramid to raise it to the surface.
If we did things correctly, then the power cell should now be able to absorb the life force of Nomads. Once it's fully charged, we can travel back to the rift and reverse it. We're going to need to raise the power cell above the surface. I'll need you to activate the terminals as they turn green. Activate the computer!
Your ignorance of ours war is unacceptable. Unwanted.
According to this, all we need to do is power up the superconductors and fill the power cell with Nomad energy. Then we can revert the rift and free ourselves from this universe.
Once there, we have to fill it with Nomad energy and power up the superconductors on the surface in order to invert the Apocalypse Rift.
Yours extermination begins now. The harnessing of your great light must commence.
It's the Marduk! Take cover!
The Nomad mothership named the Marduk rolls up on us, trying to stop us and harness our sun. It releases an army of Nomad drones to try and take us down. After a few minutes of surviving, while we let the power cell charge, we go try and grab it. Out of nowhere, a Nomad drone snags it from us and takes it to the Marduk as it flies towards Earth, ready for its harvest.
Grab it! Grab the power cell! Hurry!
Yours remains to witness the harnessing of your light. Ours find gratitude in yours assistance.
They were waiting for it! Ugh, if they activate that power cell, we'll lose the sun! We will literally freeze to death! Just hold on, I'm looking around. Right, the records indicate that there's 4 Jackal fighters stored in a hangar beneath the receiving bay. I hope you're good pilots.
Things are looking pretty grim at this point, but Coleman searches through some files and sees that 4 Jackal ships are stored in a hangar nearby ready for us to use. As we make our way to the receiving bay to locate the ships, the Space Ghost monster appears and eats Coleman alive. We are powerless as Coleman is sucked up screaming for help. There's only one thing left to do: start flying. We go back to spawn and interact with the computer to lower the ships, and then we hop in. These ships are the Jackals ripped straight from Infinite Warfare. We enter them and make a beeline straight for Earth to intercept the Marduk. Now here's something pretty interesting. The game actually loads you back to the main menu, and you have to load up a whole new map in order to play this section of the quest. Also, you can't skip straight here. If you try loading this map before doing the main Mindshare quest, it'll boot you back to the main menu. After loading up low Earth orbit, you're placed directly into the Jackal and you're able to control it along with shooting its two main weapons, a basic laser beam and a blaster. As the map name states, the location of this battle is just outside of Earth's atmosphere, and you can clearly see the Apocalypse Rift from Fury's Temple open on Earth's surface. During the fight, the Nomads speak to you asking why you're so persistent. This fight is pretty simple, as your main focus is doing damage to the mothership while it shoots back at you. Periodically, it will release some drones to shoot at you as well, and you should take care of those first, because they can quickly overwhelm you since it's not so easy to turn the ship around on a dime to aim at them. The mothership will also teleport to a different location after taking too much damage, so you have to turn all around to find it again.
The name Casilra you see at the bottom of the screen was actually Dr. Robot's Nomad name when he used to play Freelancer back in the day.
After the Marduk is defeated, it will explode and drop the power cell. When you fly over and pick it up, a cutscene will begin. Little side note here, it took me way too long to actually fly into the power cell. I couldn't get the ship to go high enough in order to grab it. I don't know what kind of pilot I am. But anyway, back to the cutscene. It shows you in the Jackals reversing the Apocalypse Rift using the power cell. As the rift closes, all the Nomads are sucked in, putting an end to their hostile takeover. The Apocalypse Rift closes, and you return back to the Alta Research Complex. But wait, isn't there someone we're forgetting? A deep voice booms out from the depths of space, saying he doesn't understand why we work against him.
I really don't understand why you continue to work against me.
The screen fades to white, and we find ourselves on an ethereal sort of platform with a few weapon pickups floating around. The Space Ghost monster is looming over us and begins to speak to us, explaining that he shaped our entire universe to be centered around us, so he can get his artifact and complete his story. He continues on about some other things about our journey, but I'll just let the monologue play here.
The Pentagon, the Cosmodrome, the Temple. I gave you so many chances! A sensible person would have given up by the third one. But once I learned that you could help me find the Nomad artifact, well, I had to finish my story. You know, I changed your entire universe to be centered around you. You were the stars. Isn't that what all you humans want? To be the center of attention, the key to the big picture. It's really astounding how much effort you put into resisting my plans. Honestly, it's kind of admirable. But where did you expect to go? Disobeying me has clearly only brought you to an even worse fate than you could have possibly had before. Do you really dislike the idea of being a part of my stories? Living for eternity, exploring the worlds I created for you? But every single time, you felt like you should succeed. I didn't really expect you to even be capable of it, but you did it anyways. I'll applaud you for that at least, but it was clearly a fruitless endeavor. Ultimately, it simply led to you delivering one of the most powerful artifacts the Kara had ever created straight into my grasp. You really did mess up by opening that rift, bringing the Kara out, revealing the location of the artifact. There was nothing good out of it. The defeat of the Dimensional Nightmare was probably the most unexpected thing that has come out of you so far. But it obviously didn't get you anywhere. Now you just ended up here, the bridge between universes, the end of your existences. There's not much else you can do at this point.
Hand over the artifact, and we can finally wrap things up the way I wanted to.
He wants us to hand over the power cell, rather, his artifact, in order to finish his story. So we gear up with the weapons provided and use the Fury Song swords to expel their energy into the artifact. We send him the artifact and he transformed into an ultra version of himself. He says it's time to end this the right way, and a boss cutscene plays that reveals he's called the Time Eater. It's time to try and put an end to all of this. You face off with him in the Bridge Between Universe on a flat ethereal plane. The Time Eater has a few attacks that he uses to do damage. The first of which are green sonic beams that he shoots out from his chest. Another is that he puts his arm through a portal to have it reappear closer to you to try and smack you. If he lands this attack, it'll send you flying across the arena. The Time Eater can also shoot yellow drill-like projectiles that will track you and explode on impact. He will float around between the four sides of the arena while he attacks. After enough damage is done, the first phase will be over and spawn a max ammo. In the second phase, the time between his attacks will shorten and things will be a little bit more hectic. One thing he can do now is mess with your flow of time. He will slow down your movement and weapon interactions while he remains the same speed. Attacks such as the green sonic rings and yellow drills are pretty much impossible to dodge in this slowdown, so you might go down. But don't worry though, you have infinite self-revives even on solo. Once the third phase hits, things will get even more hectic, with him sometimes opting to use both arms for the portal attack as opposed to just one. This third phase doesn't require a lot of damage, but when it's done, the Fury Song will show up in your inventory and you have to use it from now on instead of your normal weapons. Eventually he will fly back and a bridge will form straight to him. You have to run at him head first with a Fury Song in hand and slash his heart. He explodes, leaving the empowered artifact behind. You use that empowered artifact to restore the timeline and bring your universe back in order, and the credits roll. What a journey. For a grand finale, Mindshare certainly delivers. You can see how the Nova 6 series progressively became more and more extravagant each entry, and this one is no exception. The Easter egg is simple and has some enjoyable hacking and Simon Says sections, which keeps the vibe of the original Moon Easter egg. Speaking of the vibe of the original map, I personally love the changes that were made to the astronaut and excavators. It does make the map a little bit easier, but a lot less annoying. Now I know that's probably a hot take, and I can understand why some of you would miss these features, as they are what made the map Moon what it is. But you must remember, this isn't Moon, this is supposed to be a whole new experience. The story gets a little nuts here, but since it's the last map, might as well go all out and make it interesting. But the lore behind the Nomads being possibly tied to Freelancer just makes it a little bit confusing. If I had the choice, I would have given them a different backstory, but in the big picture it doesn't really matter since they're dealt with quickly. The shop is a great addition, even though the variants are a bit underwhelming. I did have some problems with crashes while trying to play through the Easter egg, but it was no worse than BO4 on launch, so that's fine. My experience playing was fantastic, and this mod is 100% worth getting your friends together and reinstalling Black Ops 1 for. Before we wrap up, let's pour one out for our GOAT, Coleman, man. Rest in peace. So that's it for Mindshare, and the Nova 6 series as a whole. I really hope you guys enjoyed all 4 of these retrospectives, along with the bonus content.
And I want to give a huge thank you to Dr. Robot for taking the time to sit down and have a chat with me about his modding experience. Without him, there would be no Nova 6. So if you guys see his name attached to any project, you know it's going to be a banger. As for my future long-form content, I'm going to keep doing retrospectives and reviews just like these for different custom maps around the workshop. My next video is going to be on the acclaimed custom map Leviathan, which released 5 years ago at this point, so make sure to subscribe so you don't miss it. If you stuck around this long, thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.